man, oh man. Man, oh man. Hello. How you doing? It's a glorious day. I know that's not like the right thing to do, but I told you so. Hold on. I don't. The P's and B's. I told you so. Um, I told you. Okay, so ah, ah, oh, oh my god. So I know you're not supposed. I told you, and this is why I ain't been on the internet. Everybody want to make my boy cool. I don't think it's cool at all. But I tell you this though, it's all going to come back. You know, and sometimes I ask myself, like I get real, like, you know, it's common sense type energy. And it's just funny to me. So today Adam Schefter leaked out the information. I guess it was time, so I can't call it leaked out. But he put out the information that Flacco will be traded to the Bengals. This is wild. Draft picks, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that elevated to number 2. And will also play some time this season as QB1. Now, my original, which I already knew that he would be playing, and I originally said 6, no more than week 8. That was my original prediction. I'm still going to stick to that. And I'm going to stick to it not because Dylan's not playing good. That's not it. I'm going to stick to it because I just feel that that's where everything is going. Like, here's an example. No, wait a minute. No, before my example, let me say this. Not only do I feel like that's where everything is going, a lot of y'all, for some reason, that it was all over. Y'all thought, for some reason, that battle was done with. QB battle is not over. The QB battle was over. Never over. It was never over. He just picked the starter, so it's season. It's safe to say that Stefanski and Andrew trust each other in a sense, even though they might want different things at certain times. I don't agree with Stefanski calling the play. In favor of that. Really. The offense, the way the play calling is looking is very predictable and stagnant. And I think we visited before. When I first heard them say, yes, Stefanski wants to call plays, I felt some kind of way. I felt some kind of way. He needs an OC, and he needs to trust his OC more closely. I'm looking at more advanced plays in the college right now. It's not looking tight. Um, yeah, but it's not over. It's not over by far. I don't think, unless God forbid something really, really super bad happens, like with you know, that both of these guys get injured and Zappy and Watson have to step in. Me in that position, that would be the only way I will put them in. And a lot of people, here's another thing I don't like, that we can't stop it, but we can recognize it, is that we got a lot of analysts that don't follow us, don't follow our off-season moves, don't know how the city of Cleveland and real Browns fans really get down to real loyalty. So those people, I don't pay any attention to them. Like when they're talking, when they try to make certain comments. I heard somebody say also that now, with the recent statements out, that the Browns office is building a new narrative that they only kept shit back to train him up, and they're gonna take credit for him being excellent when he comes in. Relax, bro. Relax. God, relax. You're insisting. You're assisting in the narrative making. You are assisting them in making further whack narratives. This is on you. So, like me personally, I don't. That's just not where I know my head is at when I look at what's actually going on there, and you know how how that even makes any sense, because it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like we got to stop and put a halt to this kind of negative talk. In this sense, it's just dumb. It's really dumb. And the more we start to realize that this kid, you have a 70% accuracy guy, win or lose. You got Jerry and Bond. Jerry had, with no quarterback last year, 1,000 yards. So for him not to have 100 yard, at least 100 yard game, tweaking, tweaking, tweaking. You're tweaking. Flacco was never the answer. We said this over and over and over again. And it's not even about if, you know, if he showed up or how he showed or any of that stuff. It's more or less about the fact that you want to develop these guys because they're the future. Flacco is not the future. And I'd rather y'all spend this year getting it right. And I'm sure Kevin does too. But you got to understand this also. When we in this kind of position right here, looking towards trying to get the future right, wouldn't you rather that way? That's why battle was never over. He said that anybody was the QB of the future. He never said that. So I don't personally understand why anybody would be thinking that Flacco was the end anyway. It that never made any sense to begin with. Trying to act like he was the end result. Chose a starter to begin the year with. That's it. That's it. What else is there? There's nothing. There's nothing else. So you got to ask yourself, like, would you do that? No, you wouldn't. But you also, and here's another thing about actually being a football player and understanding what the family, you know, house situation is. When you did stuff and it's certain stuff will go on at home, and your mother will be like, your father be like, don't be running out there telling your friends our business in this house. That's why Shadur and they're like, and another reason why he's doing it. Forget Rex Ryan. Like Shador's worried about the house, what they in the house about what he do. So I don't care nothing about the Rex, none of that other stuff, the Dylan shots, none of it, none of it. And I believe that both of them know better than to be cocky because they've had a little, both had their little wake up moments, you know. I believe that when Shador was speaking before the Panama moment, I kind of feel like he was talking about Cam Ward, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like that. Jackson Dart. I kind of feel like he was talking about Jackson Dart. Um, I don't really feel like I don't really feel like having to do with Dylan Gabriel. You feel me? Like this is the part of things that to me, I don't think a lot of people really. This is what I mean about not being in our huddle, not being in from the beginning, not looking at us when it's before preseason, off seasons, looking at what Shador had been saying. It just all lines up. Hey, I want to be with Cleveland. Hey, bro, who I play with on Madden? Cleveland. He said it 100 times. Oh, he told the Ravens not to pick him. So not to pick. He already told he was trying to be. And why? Because those are things that matter. Don't you want your QB to talk like that? There's a lot of extra things that I think a lot of analysts, media analysts, will never see because they pick out, stories that they got to comment on. But it's different when you actually follow. So we know that they don't follow. I'm not really pressed about it. What I am going to say in reference to it is that the way that the world picks up on the negativity and runs with it, runs with somebody trying to make a random story as if it's law or if it's facts, and it's just not. The QB battle's not over. It's not. Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, they're two different kinds of quarterbacks. They're two different kinds of quarterbacks. And I only think one thing really translates into the NFL. So I understand that Dylan has had a lot of experience per se, from what I'm hearing and understanding, but so far it hasn't produced itself as being fruitful. I saw, I've seen games, close to enough games now. I want to see Gabriel one more time. And I feel like Stefanski wants to see Gabriel one more time. Or he's going to sit too. Because what's going to happen, now this is a prediction, what's going to happen is he's going to run through everything that he has in order to find out what he really has. He's trying to see what he really has. That's why I keep telling y'all, this QB battle is not over. It's far from over. It's far from over. It can't, until, if you're a team that has gone through 41 starting quarterbacks within a certain amount of years, of course you want to find that one. You don't want to find the dude that's like some of the way one. Like, that's not what we looking for. That's why I could never have been Flacco. And I don't think it was ever Kenny Pickett. If you're fresh like that and you a number one prospect, I just don't I don't see how you're competing with a 40-year-old Joe Flacco and not blowing them out the water. Meanwhile, in practice, you got a guy with 70% accuracy working with the second and third team and getting 70% accuracy every day. And the whole O line that you had him working with, you fired the whole O line. And still to this day, we ain't seen him work with the ones. To this day, still, we ain't seen him work with the ones. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Dogs gotta eat, man. This weird. This weird. There's a lot more stuff we need to fix. That's a little more, almost just as important. I'm glad to see Quinshawn is back. We got to fix this O line, and we got to get it together. Our receivers got to catch. It's touching your hands. You got to catch, gang. Like, got to catch. Odell Beckham was out here catching bricks in the offseason, and he still was dropping the passes. So it's not that easy. But we got to catch. Whatever y'all had with Flacco 2 years ago, it ain't there no more. It ain't there. Now you got Cuzzy and them in there. Run them. Run them. Run them back to back, on and off. I don't care, but I'm telling you. Should not only gonna see the field, but we're gonna see 70% accurate. The only reason you run through these type of formalities is because you're dealing with promises, politics, front office type situations. You know what I mean? Like you got to satisfy a couple of things that you promised in order to get a certain amount of people there in the first place. So that's what everybody got to keep in mind. But QB better, bro.